All right, so now I did top 7 winners. Now we got to do the other side. The top 7 losers of night 1, in my opinion. So listen, there's going to be some players that people might say, wait, you think that's a loser? I love that pick. Why would that be a loss? There's going to be a couple of those, actually. But this is my list. These are the people that I felt like were reaches at the time. Not to say that they're bad prospects or will fail, but just that I wasn't as big of a fan of. So first, let's start with first overall. Jacksonville Jaguars are losers because I do not think that they maximized the talent the way they should have. Aiden Hutchinson was, in my opinion, the best pick of this draft class. I just think he was. Aiden Hutchinson was really good in college. All of the statistics that show that, like pass rush win rate, for example, translates very well to the next level. And guys who do well in college, that those stats tend to do well in the NFL at that level. And so the fact that they decided to go with, a guy who did not have much production, and, I have to say this, Hutchinson was a better run defender as well. He was. That's just true. So Trayvon Walker has the athletic upside, but Hutchinson's a great athlete too. I just didn't love that pick. The one thing I'll say about Jacksonville, though, is I did love their other first-round pick. They traded up to get Devin Lloyd, who I think is awesome. So yes, I didn't love their first overall pick, but there's still value in Trayvon Walker. I don't hate that as a developmental player. And I think that Devin Lloyd is someone who's just great. So I compared him to Bobby Wagner. So if he ends up being Bobby Wagner and Trayvon Walker ends up being a bust, hey, you still got decent value out of the first round. So that kind of, I think, if you're a Jaguars fan, probably softens the blow if you're also not a Walker fan like myself. So that's one that, I'm sorry, I'm never going to be a fan of that. Let's go to another team that only 2 of these teams have multiple first-round picks. The other one is the Green Bay Packers, who, again, one of their picks I really liked. It's a thumbnail image of Aaron Rodgers, because listen, that gets clicks. You know how this business works, right? But the reality is, apparently Aaron Rodgers said he's fine with these picks, and I actually don't hate him as much as other people do. So Devontae Wyatt, I just legitimately like that pick. He's a good player. I think that makes some sense. Just the Quay Walker pick, I don't really have any beef with going with a linebacker there necessarily, going with a defensive player, not drafting receiver, because you probably felt like at that spot it would be a reach to go up and get any wide receiver, which I kind of agree. My issue is I just don't think Quay Walker's that good. So that's my only issue. It's really, I feel like they reached on a guy that, to me, I feel like is more of a mid-second round guy that they instead drafted mid-first round. So that's kind of my beef with that pick. That's why I have them as losers. But I don't think it's like binary of they drafted no receivers, therefore losers. No, it's more complex than that. And there's still good receivers available for round 2. So they're losers, but I don't think they're massive losers. Again, you got to pick 7 of these, right? So some of these are going to be debatable. One that I don't know how many people will debate me on, the Patriots drafting Cole Strange, which was weird. Why draft Cole Strange? Why make that decision? I don't fully understand. Again, who am I to question Bill Belichick? He's made a lot of weird decisions that have worked out. And one of the things Belichick does very well is he picks these guys that nobody really is that high on, and he, makes them work. Especially day 3, he's a master at that. No one does a better job with day 3 picks and undrafted free agents than Bill Belichick does. That being said, plenty of people do a better job in the first round than Bill Belichick does, and I have a feeling that could happen here. But they could use a guard, and again, I haven't evaluated him that much, so I don't really know much about him, so it's hard to really make fun of it too much. But just given the way that, consensus boards have him, the consensus is that he would be a mid-third rounder. Drafting him round 1, definitely a bit of a reach. The other 4 are guys that I talked about in my video where I just kind of recapped the 5 guys that I didn't make full-length videos on. So just to reiterate some of those stuff. Tyler Smith at 24 with Dallas. Another guy who I feel weird putting on this list because I just didn't get enough tape on him to really feel comfortable criticizing him that much. I saw some and I wasn't that impressed. And I think that it felt like a reach to me at the time, but I could be wrong about that. So I won't spend forever on that. I need 7 losers. That's kind of the one of those I wanted to put on the list, but I could be wrong about. Another one who you will think I'm wrong about because everyone hates this take, but it's a take I had, and if I see something on film, I'm going to bring it up. Treylon Burks is a loser for me with the Tennessee Titans. And I have to be clear here. I'm not just talking about the Titans losing because they got Treylon Burks. They're also losers because they traded away A.J. Brown. So you trade away A.J. Brown, you're going to have to be like, you're going to have to knock out the rest of the draft to make it work. And listen, it's weird, right? Because they had so many other different things. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's weird because A.J. Brown was considering going regardless, right? So A.J. Brown wanted out. What do? Your hands are tied. You have to make a decision, but that still makes your team worse. So you're still a loser, even if it has nothing to do with you. And maybe you shouldn't have paid A.J. Brown, but it still makes your team worse. So you're still losers. Now, I'm also not that high on Treylon Burks, so it kind of both goes together there. I wasn't crazy about Burks. I don't hate him as a prospect, and like if there is a guy who's going to replace A.J. Brown, it is Treylon Burks because he is big and fast for his size, although not fast for 4.55 speed. Some people say his game speed is faster. I didn't really see that, but maybe I'm wrong. So there's stuff to like about him. I think, I don't think he's the route runner that A.J. Brown is necessarily. And, you can say everything about Burks as you can as a prospect as you could about A.J. Brown, but you can also say everything about Treylon Burks as you could about, N'Keal Harry. So there's a risk factor there, but it could work out as well. Receivers are hard to evaluate. Speaking of receivers, Jahan Dotson at 16, the Washington football team, not a Washington Commanders. I like how I can still say Washington football team, and it still works because they're still the football team in Washington. They go Jahan Dotson. Just feels like a bit of a reach for me. I think that all those receivers were gone. I think they wanted to go. It feels like the Washington football team traded back because they felt like there was receivers still available, and then ended up all those receivers left, and they're like, well, what do we do? I guess we got to go with, I guess we got to just pick Dotson. I would have rather they stay where they were at and get Jameson Williams. I think that would have been the better move personally. So again, are they massive losers? Not necessarily, but it was a reach for me. Kenyon Green at 15 for Houston. They were the other loser, which is weird because again, Derek Stingley at 3, I have no issue with. But again, did they maximize that potential at 3? I don't know. I had other guys better. I'm not going to criticize that pick. I think he's a really good player. He's worthy of a top 3 pick. But it wasn't a great pick either. And again, the way I view winners or losers isn't who got better or who got worse. It's who got better or who got worse given your expected value going in. So the Texans had a lot of expected value going in. I don't know if they matched that expected value because I think Stingley was a little bit lower than your expected value at 3, but still very good. And then Kenyon Green, I think, was a lot lower. I just wasn't high on Green. I've said this before. I felt like he had too many bad games, even at guard in college. That being said, though, if he's what he is on his average day, he'll be pretty good. You just got to hope that those bad games are flukes, which they might be. So again, if that's the case, then they're not losers at all. But I also don't know if they hit any of these picks out of the park. But again, maybe they did. If Derek Stingley is Darrelle Revis, well then okay, I guess I'm wrong. And again, I really like Derek Stingley. I think he's awesome and worthy of a top 3 overall pick. So it's not about Stingley too much. It's more about Kenyon Green. That's the real reason that they're on this list. So yeah. Those are my 7 losers. What do you guys think? I'm sure everyone agrees, and we don't even have to talk about it. So, but if that's not the case, let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.